All right, we would invite you to come on down and let's go ahead and get started today. First of all, thank you for coming out for this Flavors of Utah and My Hometown Initiative press conference. My name is Dave Davis. I am the president and CEO of the Utah Food Industry Association, and we represent grocery stores, convenience stores, wholesalers, and suppliers here in the state of Utah. It's my opportunity to be able to give you a little bit of background on the Flavors of Utah event. Let me take you back about 5 years. This event had very, very humble beginnings. It began with Senator Mike Lee, and a couple of interns with a 5-gallon bucket making root beer back in Washington, D.C. and celebrating Pioneer Day back there. The root beer was delicious, and the event expanded from there. From those humble beginnings, the event has now become the biggest Pioneer Day celebration east of the Mississippi. It's been just great. We've in 2019, we brought dozens of Utah food producing companies back to Washington, D.C. We put on a great event. We had over 700 people that came out and participated in that event back in Washington, D.C. Then COVID-19 came and hit. And in 2020, we were unable to go back to DC, and again this year we're unable to go back there. But I gotta tell you, I am so proud of the Flavors of Utah team and their flexibility, their creativity, because it would have been very easy at that point just to hang it up for a couple of years and to say, we'll get back to Flavors of Utah, Washington, D.C. in a couple of years when the Capitol reopens and we can be back there again. But instead, the event changed, and it became focused on the state of Utah and recognizing people that are doing exceptional work in their communities here in the state of Utah. It was a great opportunity to be able to recognize these people. So we have put together, the Flavors of Utah team, 500 Utah products bags filled with Utah food products that we're going to donate to a great partner. Last year we partnered with our COVID-19 frontline responders. This year, we're going to partner with the My Hometown Initiative. And these bags will be donated and will be able to be distributed throughout the community here in West Valley City. There is such great work that's being done by the volunteer team that is represented here today. We're going to be doing a little lunch for that team following this precedent. Let me say thank you to a few people and then just give you an outline of our events. Let me say thank you to our vendors that have generously donated product and time to put together these food bags. Obviously, a big thank you to Senator Lee and his staff, specifically Justin Anthony, as Director of Business Outreach, Matt Holton, his Deputy Chief of Staff, and Allison Bell, his Chief. They've been just a great part of the team. Thank you to West Valley City. We'll be hearing from Mayor Pro Tem Bueller later in this press conference. They have been such a great partner on the My Hometown Initiative. We're also grateful for the faith leaders that are here today and their willingness to donate their volunteer force, their time, their resources to make things happen. Also, I'd be remiss if I didn't say thank you to our key sponsors. We'll be hearing from some of those in just a minute, but Zions Bank and Associated Food Stores. And again, thank you to Double L Ranch, Madbrook Donuts, and Taffy Town, who are going to be sponsoring our volunteer lunch that will follow this event. So let me quickly give you the rundown. We're going to first have the opportunity to hear from Senator Mike Lee. He will be followed by Dale Stevens, an Executive Vice President from Zions Bank. We will then hear from Bob Obrey, the CEO of Associated Food Stores. We'll hear a few remarks from Mayor Pro Tem Steve Bueller from West Valley City. And then we're going to have the opportunity to hear a couple of remarks from President Craig Christensen, the Utah Area Presidency for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Finally, we will get the wonderful opportunity, and this is going to be a real highlight, to hear from Sister Isabella Freeman, who lives here in this community and is a proud block captain and who we love very much. And then I'll get up and give some final directions. So, Senator Lee.
Good morning. It's so good to be with you for the 6th annual Flavors of Utah event. But as Dave mentioned, in some ways this is actually the 11th annual event. This is an event that we started in my office in 2011. And I like Dave's description. It's the biggest Pioneer Day celebration. We hold it in Washington, D.C. That's east of the Mississippi. And in Washington, it's kind of fitting because, at a Pioneer Day celebration in Washington, you have to say, this isn't the place, and I'm so glad that it's not. I'm so glad that my ancestors came to this valley rather than that swamp. It's much better here. I want to start out by thanking our Flavors of Utah sponsors. Dave Davis, of course, the Utah Food Industry Association, who's also a longtime friend of mine. We've been good friends since law school. Scott Anderson and Dale Stevens of Zions Bank, Bob Obrey, Ryan Barnes, and Sarah Pettit of Associated Foods. And without this group, there would be no Flavors of Utah. Not this year, not any year. I also want to recognize West Valley City, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and the My Hometown initiative, which we're here to celebrate today. When Brigham Young and the first pioneers came to this valley in 1847, it didn't look like much, but it wasn't about the place as much as it was about them at that moment. They embodied a spirit of courage, of cooperation, of endurance and entrepreneurship, ready to build a new life and ready to undertake new ventures and build a thriving new economy. There are rumors about how many trees could be found in this valley at the time they arrived. Some said that there was only one or two. It wouldn't surprise me if that were true. I'm glad that that's no longer the case. Flavors of Utah is about celebrating that same vitality that they brought with them. So in past years, we've celebrated that by hosting these events in Washington, D.C. Like Dave said, just a big bucket and a bunch of dry ice to make root beer and pie and ice cream. What could be more Utah? And we'd also serve Jell-O from time to time, as we do every week, every Wednesday at 3:30 in my office when the building's not closed for COVID. Initially, I thought this would be just a fun way. As a kid, I loved making root beer, any excuse to mess around with dry ice. But it became a fun activity, and over time, members of Congress and their staffs and other people around town, people who had nothing to do with Utah, started asking, when's your next Pioneer Day celebration? We want to come to it because they realized it was a lot of fun. Due to the pandemic in 2020 and now in 2021, Flavors of Utah events have looked much different. We've pivoted from channeling that spirit that we've been celebrating from a food sampling model to a food giving model. And this year we're fortunate, very fortunate, to be partnering with 9 great food producers. Butcher's Bunches, Criminelli Fine Meats, Frito-Lay, Kodiak Cakes, Pioneer Chips, Sweet Candy Company, Lauer Foods, Madbrook Donuts, and Taffy Town. Together, we've assembled 500 Utah product bags and put together a lunch that we'll be donating to the My Hometown Initiative. I love the My Hometown Initiative. It's something that helps me be happy whenever I think about it. It's a neighborhood improvement coalition made up of residents, city workers, and volunteers from various churches, various organizations and walks of life. It runs entirely on private donations and on the fuel of volunteerism. All the time we hear the accolades about Utah being one of the best places to live, and it is, and one of the best places to start a business, and it's that too, and one of the best places to raise a family, and it certainly is that. Well, those accolades are all true. They could never exist without Utah's most impressive accolade of being one of the best connected communities in the nation. What I mean by that is that I've undertaken a review of a lot of sociological studies over the last few years about what contributes to a community being a good place to live. What is it that allows for an individual or a family or a community to thrive? A lot of it really just depends on individuals being able to access and develop connections with other individuals. We need each other. We need access to each other, first and foremost, in order to thrive. Individuals who are more connected, whether it's through their family, through their church, synagogue, or mosque, through a fraternal organization, or just through their neighborhoods, are more likely to thrive and more likely to climb the socioeconomic ladder. We do that really well in Utah, and it's one of the reasons why in Utah we consistently have the highest rates of upward economic mobility. This is a place where you can be born into poverty or move here with nothing and have a greater chance of achieving the American dream one day than any other place in America. This is one of the many reasons why I love the My Hometown initiative. It's not government mandated. There wasn't a law passed to make it. It was created by the community for the community to improve the community. Well, the program has had an immense amount of success in seeing a problem and noting it and drawing volunteers to come and fix it. It's also brought together communities in a way that really should be a model for other communities throughout the nation to follow. One community member, Nicholas Orwin, who's here with us today, shared this quote, and this is a quote that I've also shared on the floor of the United States Senate. He said, "We live in a strange world these days. We hear this ideology that if you don't look like me, talk like me, act like me, vote like me, then we must be enemies. But throughout all this social upheaval, this community has worked together and served one another in such a brilliant and beautiful way that it just defies the ideology that we're different and we have to segregate ourselves out into groups. Even in the dark days of COVID," he continues, "this community service was such a bright, shiny star. Through all of that hard, we have this really beautiful and safe community service that was happening," close quote. He said it masterfully. The work that My Hometown does is felt not only through this community, but through communities all across this valley. A member of my staff who lives in a neighboring community has seen firsthand the volunteer opportunities, the relationships, and the connections that have come about through the program as his ward has worked hand in hand, taking on assignments here in West Valley as part of the My Hometown initiative. Connecting people to people and communities to communities and cities to cities is, in fact, the Utah way. It's why this all works so well. I'm incredibly impressed by the work that the initiative has already accomplished, and I look forward to seeing not only the great work the organization continues to do, but also how other communities will learn from its success. It's been said that the greatness of a community is most accurately measured by the compassionate acts of its members, of the people who make up that community. If that's the case, then Utah truly is a great place, with a spirit truly worth celebrating. With that, I'll turn the podium over to Dale Stevens of Zions Bank.
Thank you, Senator Lee, and thank you, Dave Davis. It is such an honor to be able to be here, and it has been an honor to be here on behalf of Zions Bank, and for me personally to have been able to participate in Flavors of Utah from the very beginning, back in Washington, D.C. It is great to be able to spotlight such amazing businesses that we have here in the state of Utah and to share that with people throughout the country, but especially with our leaders in DC, and to set that example for what businesses in Utah can do. Over the last couple of years, bringing it back to the state of Utah has been extra rewarding. Being able to spotlight these businesses here at home and to recognize the incredible communities that we live in and serve. It is wonderful to be here with the My Hometown Initiative, and I think nothing better exemplifies what we as Utahns stand for than serving our communities and reaching out for one another and helping, whether it be through times like COVID or whether it be through normal times as well. The willingness of Utahns to step up and to help and to partner together is exactly what we stand for in the spirit of pioneering spirit that we bring. Zions Bank has been honored to participate in this initiative and to partner with such incredible businesses to bring this to Washington, D.C., and we hope to bring it back in years to come. But I hope that we will never lose this opportunity to be here in the state of Utah and to recognize and celebrate the good that is done here. I appreciate the incredible business partners that we have, the vendors and businesses that have sponsored this event and continue to support it as we ask over and over again for more and more from them to bring it here in Utah and in DC. I'm especially appreciative of the incredible support that we have from our local communities. Those of us that stand here get to basically take credit for what is done, but it is the work of hundreds of people that make it happen. And so to be able to be here today with the My Hometown Initiative, to recognize the incredible efforts and in a small way to give back and give thanks, this is what it is all about. So thank you for being here, and thank you for everything that you do.
Thank you, Dale. Thank you, Senator Lee. My name is Bob Obrey. I'm the President and Chief Executive Officer of Associated Food Stores. I'm here today representing the over 5,000 team members and associates at Associated Food Stores and the 400 plus member owners of our company. Our headquarters is just 10 blocks to the north, right next to the post office there on 2100 South. So we're neighbors to the great city of West Valley, and it's a pleasure to be here with you. We're proud to be a part of Flavors of Utah, a collaborative effort between Utah business and some of the best products around, those that are made in the great state of Utah. I'd like to personally thank Senator Lee and the Utah Congressional Delegation, the Utah Food Industry Association, Dave Davis, West Valley City, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, My Hometown Initiative, and Zions Bank, and the many Utah vendors who make an event like this, Flavors of Utah, possible. I also want to recognize the incredible service that is done here in West Valley through this great initiative, the Hometown Initiative, a demonstration of a true community that cares for one another. What an amazing effort where people of all faiths, regardless of where they worship, how they worship, or who they worship, can come together and serve each other in a true sense of community and collaboration. That is what we should all be doing every day of our lives. Associated Food Stores carries a multitude of local products. Many of my favorite products are represented here today in Flavors of Utah. Mad Brook Donuts, of course, who can pass up a good donut? Sweets Candy Company and Kodiak Cakes. Flavors of Utah is a part of Pioneer Day, commemorating the day that pioneers settled in Salt Lake Valley, July 24th, 1847, 173 years ago. Utah became a state in 1896, and many people aren't aware of why we're called the Beehive State. The bee is known for being incredibly efficient. They're hard workers, just like the amazing and resilient and gritty pioneers that settled this valley. The B stands for industry and the determination to see a job through. At Associated Food Stores, with over 400 local grocery stores who own our company, many of them mom and pop grocers, independents. You see the names on the stores. Harmon's, Macy's, Lee's. Those stores are owned by by people who live here in the state of Utah. They're locally owned business, independent business people. They are a lot like the honeybee. They're industrious, they're gritty, they work hard for a cause. You have a lot of choices when you go to a grocery store and do your shopping, but when you shop local, you're truly making an investment right here in our local community. In fact, if Utahns spent 10% more on local business, it would keep $1.3 billion in our state's economy every year. When local wins, we all win. Associated Food Stores is pleased to participate in this important and meaningful celebration. What we stand for is being united behind a great cause, passionate, determined, hardworking, and innovative. All attributes that all of us have in common, everyone here and everyone in the great state of Utah. Let's continue to work together to accomplish great things. I'll give it up now to Mayor Pro Tem Steve Bueller. Thank you.
Thank you, and welcome to West Valley City. Welcome to the Utah Cultural Celebration Center. This is the right place for this event, and we're very happy to have you here. If you haven't been to this center before, I hope you'll return many times. It's a busy place with a lot of cultural and community activities. West Valley City is the second largest city in the state. Many people don't know that. It's somewhat of a bedroom community, and with 140,000 people, it might seem that we can't really have that hometown feel. But in September of 2019, some of the residents came to the city and said, we need help improving our neighborhood. We had city leaders that reached out to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, other churches, great big businesses, other partners, and created the Operation My Hometown. But that is driven by the people. Good government, our founding fathers taught us, is created by we the people. It's not by electing certain brainiacs or special people with great talents to run the show. My Hometown is a neighborhood initiative. When we decided to roll it out, we thought, well, we'll bring it to a neighborhood of 500 homes, and that's what we did. Despite COVID, despite the challenges that we've had other neighborhoods come to the city and say, we want that program. Now we're covering 2,000 homes, and this is just going to keep growing. Very proud and very pleased with the communities coming together. My experience is that when we know our neighbors, when we're friends with each other, we watch out for each other. We're kinder to each other. We communicate with each other. We plan and develop and raise our children together. And that's what makes a city great, and that's what makes a city a place where people can say, this is where I'm from, I'm proud of it, this is my hometown, and these are my friends. We have had some 30,000 hours of donated time cleaning up neighborhoods, working together in these service projects, and that is just amazing. And it's not paid government employees, it's not tax funded, it's brought by the residents that care about each other. And there isn't a better place to live than where your friends and family care for each other. Thank you.
I'm grateful to follow Mayor Pro Tem Bigelow and highlight West Valley City in this particular initiative. When Senator Lee announced on the Senate floor the location of Flavors of Utah and cited My Hometown initiative, he used a couple of phrases that I've been pondering. One, he called the enduring spirit of Utah. I've thought a lot about that in spirit and how it started. If you think about it, we don't have to go very far in our history to realize that this became a gathering place of people that were escaping, running, migrating from other places, and this sense of community to welcome every newcomer, every person that flows into this valley as part of who we really are. He cited a quote that I like about community service. He said, the greatness of any community is measured by the compassion of its members. And it's the compassion of members that live around you, that live with you, that really makes a community great. When we were approached by the city to participate in My Hometown initiative, they wanted us to use one of our meeting houses as a community center. I had to convince senior leadership that that was a good idea. The way I did that is I brought several leaders early in the morning to the community in which you all live, And we got to see that spirit in action. As we saw mothers and fathers bring their children and go to school, we saw this great sense of community that already existed. And realized that the greatest thing we could do is participate and build upon what already was here. And that's a great love for their neighborhood, for their people in their neighborhood. So we started an initiative with West Valley City that became amazing to watch. That community center now offers many courses. It's a place of tutoring of children, activities for children, a gathering place for entrepreneurship, helps for migration, immigration, and other issues. Most importantly, it's a place where people gather together that wouldn't normally come together on almost a daily basis. And we've seen that spirit just continue to expand. It's driven by block captains. Isabella Freeman's one of those captains. I can't wait to hear from her, because part of the strength of what this is we have local residents driving some of the cleanup, fix-up, help, some of the great services that we've been able to participate in. And as you see on any one Saturday in this small block of 1,000 homes where we started, you see 400 to 600 volunteers show up in yellow vests and do whatever the residents want them to do. It's been amazing to watch that transformation. It continues to expand. In my estimation, that's what pure religion is. To reach out and lift those that need your help at times that they need it, and at the same time, look at their self-reliance, look at their strength, and just be part of their community. That's been our privilege to participate. I'd like to recognize clearly Mayor Bigelow, Pro Tem Buehler, and clearly Wayne Pyle, who's the city manager of West Valley City, Nicole Cottle, who is the assistant manager and has been connected to us through this whole process. It's been amazing to watch. I've got Elder Durham, Mark Durham, and Mary, who lead our efforts with 140 full-time missionaries that work in West Valley City, and many, many volunteers. It's been an amazing experience to watch this faith community be blessed by the community at large in West Valley. We applaud their efforts, and thank you for this opportunity.
I'm going to greet you first before I give my speech. The Polynesian island is covered with so many different islands. I will pick the island to greet you, the greeting words. Aloha. Aloha. Are you cool off now? I was told I'd speak only 2 minutes, so I'm going to make my 2 minutes sharp cut. My name is Isabella Freeman. I am a native to Samoa. I am also proud to be an American citizen, a mother, a grandmother, a passionate volunteer, and a block captain with my hometown initiative. I want to share with you my experience working with my hometown initiative. In Samoa, there are no strangers. That is one reason why my hometown initiative resonates so strongly with me. Together, through service, we build up our community to be a beautiful, welcoming, and safe place where everyone is accepted. Everyone is a neighbor. Everyone is a friend, regardless of income, religious background, or race. We are all brothers and sisters that accept one another. We band together to support one another. We work tirelessly together to accomplish our goal. I have a pleasure of knocking on my neighbors' doors, saying hello to them, checking on their needs, and helping them find solutions for things like fixing or installing a fence, painting their homes, updating a roof, or even making our community pantry accessible. With my hometown initiative, we find ourselves through service. I love service. I never miss any Saturday service. So we want you want to come on in and join the army. I want to thank you to Senator Lee and Flavor of Utah for your partnership with wonderful local products you provide for my hometown initiative today. Aloha and thank you.
Woo-hoo.
by the way, there's absolutely no way to follow Sister Freeman. So that being said, no gathering of the My Hometown Initiative group would be complete without just a little bit of work. And so what we're going to do at this time is we're going to invite our block captains, our volunteers. If you can head over, see Matt Holton there waving his arms. If you can head over to the back of the semi-trailer, we have all of the food bags there ready to be unloaded. We're going to take those, and there's a storage place right down here to my right. And we're just going to move those bags. And with this army, I'm sure that we can get it done quickly. Following that, we would invite you to join us down